Just flip it up. Let's see. There you go. Flip it the other way, push down.
This train and bound for glory, this train.
Oh, hey there. Name's David Mays, your host for this edition of Along the Model Railroad Line, program where we talk about the fun you have playing with trains. And I usually have some fun playing with trains. I hope you are too. And sometimes, though, gotta have a little change of plans. Have you ever had the experience yourself where you did something, got it all finished, and came out real nice and everything, and then after a while, kind of got to looking and realized this may not be quite what I want? Well, that's what's going on right here with these pair of switches or turnouts. Okay. This is kind of the yard throat on my switching layout that goes into a factory, which is located where you are, via the camera. And like I said, the Atlas Code 83 number 4s, and work real good. And using these little ground throws by Caboose Industries to operate the points. Again, they work real well. Plan to use these for some more other turnouts later on. And like I said, original thought was, it's a little switching layout. Be really easy, just reach over here and throw the switches by hand. Don't need anything fancy. But after a while, just letting it sit here, for a while, looking at it, I got to realize there's something here that's not going to work. I mean, the bench work on the layout is like 46 inches off the floor. It's about 2 feet wide, and I'm about 5'6", give or take a fraction of an inch. And while I can reach over here to get these, that's going to put some limitation on what kind of scenery I can do right here. I mean, I don't want anything, tall or, anything like that, but there's still going to be some limits as to how I can do the scenery here if I'm always having to reach over here to get to the switch and throw it. So what I decided to do is, after thinking about it, let's go ahead and just take these off. They're still good, so I'll save them for another project and substitute an electric switch machine like this right here, a little double throw solenoid type switch machine. Put the amount underneath the layout. Now we can use these little electrical switches to help control it. And this is a little gadget here. I'm not sure how well it shows up in the camera, but it's a little linkage that's used to connect the switch machine to the switch. I'll show you that later. So got a little project here. Invite you to tag along. So let's all climb aboard and take another trip along the Model Railroad Line, which we'll do as soon as I get down from. Ow! Alrighty. I'm going to show you what we're going to do here next. I'm going to attach some wires to the switch machine so to get it ready for actually installing it on the layout. Like I said earlier, there's 3 places here where you attach the wires. Just a little bit of solder. Move that out of the way a second. Basically, electrically, the center is kind of like the common return, whereas you apply power to one of the outer contact points, it'll throw the solenoid, which of course throws the switch, things like that. So like I said, I'm just going to do a quick thing. Just going to take some of this wire and attach it to this. Now, first thing I do, I got this handy little vise use to help hold on to the work. Just kind of set it there. Got the tab right there for a screw. Just set it down in there and just tighten it down a little bit. Doesn't have to be super tight. There we go. But it still gets up a little higher, a little easier to see. Hold it at an angle. It'll make it easier to work on. And of course, I've been letting this warm up. The soldering pencil. Still, I've had this for years. Still works real good. The only thing to be careful is, when it's plugged in, it's on constantly, and so like I said, it's hot right now. Before I plugged in, I kind of made sure the tip there was on there tight, and now that it's warm, I can kind of go back here, take this brass wire brush and just brush it over there a little bit, make sure it's clean, like that. And then what I'm going to do is take a little bit of the solder. Got some rosin core solder here. Those are 60% tin, 40% lead with rosin core. It's got some rosinous material embedded in it, which helps the solder to flow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tin the tip of the soldering pencil or soldering iron. Really easy, just carefully, obviously paying attention where your fingers are. Just touch it there, the tip. There you go. Just let a little bit of solder melt onto that. That'll help with the heat transfer when you're actually soldering the wires on. And then I got this thing, got a little piece of wet paper towel there. I'm going to use that to help wipe the tip off, like that. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to tin those. Apply a little bit of solder at each joint there. And again, before we do that again, come back here and kind of just give us a little bit of brush. Make sure there's no dirt or anything on there. This is a brass wire brush. And I got this little thing here. It's got steel wire in it. Again, use that for cleaning things like contact points. A little gentle rubbing, help rub off any dirt or rust or anything like that. And a little hard to get the underneath there, so quick fix. Just take a knife and just get in there, just rub gently underneath there. Nothing fancy. A little bit clean and ready to go. Put my magnifiers on. Okay. Makes it easier to see what I'm doing. And again, we're going to take the rosin core solder, get down here where I can see. These little tabs do have a hole through them, so I want to be careful not to plug those holes up. It'll actually make it easier to attach the wires when we come back later. Carefully put the tip of the iron there on the edge of the tab. We're going to be applying solder to. Just give it a second, warm up, and then take the solder and just touch it to the top. Hot enough, the solder will just flow right on. There you go. We don't need a whole bunch on there. Okay, take that off. Same thing with the second one. Yeah, you want the metal to be warm enough to melt the solder. I mean, the iron itself is plenty hot, but it would be possible to try to apply solder too quickly, and then you end up with what call a cold joint. Apparently, it's called. It looks like the solder is sticking, but in practice, hasn't really bonded with the metal yet. Let's see. Get in there again. Just touch it on there. There you go. A little dab will do you. All right, just a little more, and yeah, that'll work. Okay. Let me reach up here, grab something off the shelf. Just let me get one of these down. Put little alligator clips on it. Because what we're going to do, put that out of the way. Going to be using some of this 3-conductor wire. Going to need to strip some of the material off of it. Now, as far as what I'm going to do here, of course, go ahead and cut a length off here. There's the number 10. Just stretch, do like that, stretch up to around 19. So, roughly 9 inches worth. That should be plenty. Take some cutters. There you go. Just cut that off. There you go. And just set that aside for right now. Now, what I do here, I'm going to strip some of this insulation off here. I got these wire strippers, real handy. Just get in here. Just give it a squeeze, and we'll just pull that insulation right off. There you go. Now I got these 3 wires sticking out. I'm going to use the white to be the common. It'll go, here on the center piece, and whereas the black and the red will go on one of the other contacts. Which one doesn't matter. Pop that off. There you go. Just comes right off. And then do the same thing the other 3. One more. There you go. Now spread it out. Now I'll do the same thing here on the other end. Okay, so what we're going to do next, going to go ahead and take this wire and attach it to the switch machine. I've already got the wires pre-tinned. I'm going to attach the white wire, to the center tab, like that. Then the red and the black will go to one of the others. Which one doesn't matter. If there's any issue of polarity, we'll figure that out later. But to get started, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take pliers. I'm going to put a little bend in the end of the wire. Kind of make a little hook on it, like that. I just twist that around. A little hook through the little hole here that's down here on the tab. There you go. Same thing with the other one. Like that. And do this one. There you go. Just twist that over. There you go. Alright. What I'm going to do here, get that out of the way. Just reach down here. Just poke that through a little hole there at the end of the tab. There we go. Alrighty, okay, show you what I got here. Like I said, I just got through installing these wires on the switch machine. Now I'm going to test it. What I got here, I went and kind of set up here, set up that will simulate what it would look like on the actual layout. We obviously got the switch machine here, got it connect, the wires there, this 3-conductor wire connect, and I got it comes right here and connects into this little power strip or connections here. Got basically the same one as this one. Thing's made out of nylon. It's got about 12 positions on it. The idea is you put the wire on one side, that kind of helps keep the wires neat, and the wires connected, you come in from the other side. In this case, I got hooked up to the little switch here to actually control the switch machine. And again, that's why some people call these turnout motors to keep from getting confused with electrical switches. But anyway, got that all hooked up on the layout. Of course, there'll probably actually be 2 of these with wire between them. Switch machine being this one, and the switch controller being this one. And like I said, some more of this wire connecting them in between. And then, of course, from this tunnel strip to the switch controller, got these little. This particular controller got these little plugs here. Just hook up, plug right in. Do like that. And then, of course, the power source is the same thing from here. And again, just plugs in. In this case, got 2 wires, basically positive, negative. And then it, of course, goes again into the power strip. It may be, in this case, be a whole different one on one side. And then from the other side, the wire connects to the power source, the power pack. Got here an old Model Rectifier Corporation Tech 2. I've had this thing for years. Works great. So, a little plug for them. Kind of like the MRC's products. Seem to work real good. And the thing about this particular power pack, you actually got 3 outlets here on the back. You got this one here in the middle goes to track. So when you run the layout, turn the the rheostat right there. That's control the speed. And this set in the middle is for accessories, and it's AC power. So you got here you normally get the maximum around 12-14 volts DC. Here in the middle, you're getting around 16 volts AC. And that's kind of used for accessories like switch machines. Okay, and this particular power pack also has a pair of outlets for fixed DC. Again, approximately 12-14 volts, which of course can be used for other applications. In theory, I could use this fixed DC to also run the switch motors, but in practice, I kind of prefer working with the AC. Seems it's already there. It won't interfere with how you use this for running the trains, things like that. And it's just convenient. And most power packs just come with these these 2 outlets. The MRC one's unique and have this extra feature, which I'll probably be using in it as a part of a other video here soon. Which stay tuned. I'll tell you about it later. But does this thing work? Well, let's see. Everything's hooked up here. Just reach over here. You can see it. There's the power switch. Everything's already plugged. Just flip that over. That should be all I need to do there. And you come back over here. Grab the controller here. Just flip it up. Let's see. There you go. Flip it the other way. You push down. There you go. Go back up. Push there. Make contact. And then push it back down. Make contact again. Just don't have to hold it down for very long. Just a quick push and it works just fine. So all I can say is it works. So a couple more times. It's just fun. There we go. I have noticed if you do that a lot, the motor does start to warm up a little bit. But in typical layout use, that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, have a little operating session on the switching layout, you're probably going to have to throw the switch, each switch a couple of times. So anyway, basically this works. So the next thing now is go ahead and kind of segue back to layout, and we'll actually start putting this in and get all wired up. Alrighty, there. Moving on to the next scene. Actually up here on the layout. Being a little more careful this time. Basically, gotta go ahead and do some things to install this, this linkage, so it can be used, for the switch machine, like that. As I was showing earlier in the video, actually probably end up removing a couple ties right here so I can drill a hole through, so this thing will, fit better. And the first thing I'm going to do here, got the hole right there on the throw bar. And like I said, I got the little Caboose Industries, ground throw right there. Use that. Help throw it. And like I said, it actually works real good. It's just, like I said, the switch is on the other side of the layout and a little awkward to reach. So, gotta put it in the switch machine. Okay. Get an idea where it should go. I think I was demonstrating that earlier. Again, use this. Move the points to where they're roughly about half and half, between the stock rails. And then, of course, just take this and just put it there. You got the screw right there, little pivot. They'll go through the hole there. I may have to go in here and enlarge that hole a little bit, but that'll be later. And just position that where it's right there at the hole. And then you kind of get an idea where we need to drill a hole through the benchwork right here. And like I said, at the very minimum, there's one tie. It's going to be easier to just remove the whole tie between the rails rather than trying to, cut a notch in or something like that. And like I said, I may have to remove the other tie in front of it here. Now, for the purposes here, that should be fine. I mean, there's plenty of support for the rails. They're not going to shift out of gauge or anything. Pardon me. And of course, being way over here on the other side of the layout, nobody's going to really be able to notice it. Again, there's probably a little thing to do. Kind of go back and cut some pieces off at a time, kind of put it in, fill in gaps through here. But like saying, at the same time, I don't think anybody's going to really notice. And of course, this thing was this brass color right now. I'll go back and paint it also, so it's not so obvious. So, like I said, at the very minimum, I've got one tie I'm going to remove. So, reach over here. Got some nippers, some wire cutters or nippers, what you call it, that designed to cut flush on one side and push all the materials, cutting off in the other direction. And just get in here. Nothing fancy, but just get in here and do it. I can see the tie, the spikes on the tie. I'm going to kind of cut this where those spikes stay in place. So again, I'll help hold the rail in place. Just give it a gentle squeeze. And there you go. Okay, and then get over here, do the same thing the other side. Here, just kind of get a little bit, move around a little bit. There you go. There you go. Just put that aside. Grab some tweezers. Just reach in there, just pull that out. There you go. I was worried the glue in here might want to let the thing go, but in practice, did fine. Okay. Now, you can see where part of the tie shifted a little bit, but there shouldn't be a problem. Okay. And the next thing, like saying, get an idea where this should go. Here, grab that. Got a little pencil, mechanical pencil right here. Just make sure the lead's sticking out. Again, let's get in here. Get an idea. Yeah, I may have to remove this other tie because there is a little place there where it's trying to, there's this washer on here on top of the shaft, a little tubing here. We'll go catch on there. And I decided this thing will work best if it's down on the road bed as opposed to catching on a tie. So, but again, just look in there, get an idea where it goes, and just kind of do like that. Get everything line up. Get down here with a pencil. Get right there. Kind of get everything lined up. Make sure that point rails are kind of in the middle because I want that hole here to line up with the hole there. And there's actually a little hole here where you drive a track nail through, so they can use that to help figure out where everything goes. And just right there. Actually pretty easy to see. Okay. Now before I get any farther, what I'm going to do, I got basically a toothpick that I broke in half. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to take the pointy ends, push that in along the point rail along one side here, like that, and then go and do the same thing on the other side. There we go. Just to kind of help lock everything in place. Now at some point I got to remove the ground through, but for right now I can just leave it where it is. That's it. Looks like it should keep everything in place here. Take this, push it through, push down, same thing the other. Okay, help everything stay put. Well, a lot of stuff doing the hobby, you don't have to be exact about it. Something like these switches. What I'm trying to get is perfect as you can, so that if there is any imperfections, it will be minor. And again, just double checking, make sure everything lines up. There you go. And looks good. So the next thing, yeah, take these tweezers, just push down in there. Get a little hole going. There's got cork road bed right here. And of course, this surface is styrofoam, extruded styrofoam. Do that. Make a pilot hole, because here I'm going to drill a hole through there here in a second. Again, just line everything up here. Okay. Actually, I need to move that hole back a little bit. So, right there. There we go. And if I have to have anything in, not perfect, probably this hole here, I can get it off slightly and probably make some adjustments on it. But here, on the throw bar, yeah, you want to kind of get it exactly you can. Now just looking at it, look like everything lines up. Maybe you need to go back just a hair. But looks good enough. So the next thing, get out my trusty drill. The instructions suggest using a 1/8 size drill bit. So that's what I got here. And this is long enough. It'll go ahead and go through the plywood, which is the sub base for the styrofoam. And here we go, basically the moment of truth. Let's get that right there. Push down a little bit and just gently. There you go. That's the first 1/4 inch is soft stuff styrofoam. Now it's making contact with the plywood, and now we get serious. There we go. There. Alrighty. Now, being that we are in Texas, maybe we struck some oil down there. help pay for the layout. Okay. More serious. Nope. Okay. Now what I need to do now is actually take this little lever off of here, and just grab the screwdriver. So I'm going to take this little lever off. Again, get just a standard screw, machine screw stuck in there. Just loosen that up. Just come right off. There you go. You can see that on the camera. There you go. Gonna put that over there. Put this little block washer over here. And just take that off. Put it aside. Now we got this brass tube right here. There's a little washer on top. And it should just kind of just drop in there. Do that. Just push it through. And there you go. And looks like the probably need to use the next size drill bit. This thing's not going through. Back in here again. Should make quick work of it. There we go. Yeah. There you go. Set that aside. Get those bits of wood out of the way. Let's see how this fits now. There you go. Goes right through. Now here, let's go ahead and do a little test fit. Let's take this part, drop it through there also. There you go. Just see how it fits. I mean, right now this thing is sitting on top of the next tie. And I think, just turn it around, kind of get a feel how well it fits. And again, I'm going to have to do this tie that's right here. I'm going to have to either remove it or put a little chip in, or take a chip out, meaning put some kind of notch in it, because again, the little washer that's on top of this tubing is catching on it, and this thing does need to be down on the level of the cork road bed rather than sitting on top of one of the ties. So, quick fix again. Grab the flush cutters again. Just get in here, just cut that out. Now in this case, I'll probably try to leave most of the tie in place. Just take off a little bit here, kind of in the middle. Just do that. There we go. Reach over the other side. And there we go. Take that piece off out of the way. Got a piece of the tie over here is trying to work its way out, so push that back into place. Okay. Let's see how this thing works now. Just drop right in. Yep, Fits great. And now the throw bar itself, drop that down in there. There you go. There you go. I can tell the alignment is slightly off and nothing serious. Okay. What I can do, get that out. Pull that out. There you go. Just need to enlarge the hole here in that direction. Everything should line up. Here. Take my box of tools here. Oh, here. You know how I can do this. Just get in there with the drill bit. Just carefully. Okay, that should do it. Just rub the drill bit up and down while it's turning, while pushing against the side of the hole in the direction I want it, to cut away at. Drop that back in. Pull it up. Okay, hold on. Act like it's catching on something. Reach down there like that. Okay, there we go. Hold up. Here. Go through here one more time. For some reason, act like catching on something. Okay. Now, drop this back down in there. There we go. And come back, drop the throw rod back through there. Okay, it actually lines up with this hole here in the throw bar. Now what I need to do now is pull this back out. And here, it's going to pull that out too. There we go. Just reach in there with a pair of tweezers, but stuck your hair through the hole and just let the tweezers expand. Work real good. What I need to do is enlarge that hole right there. It doesn't have to be much. What I'll be using here is these tools here, these little so-called reamers, or cutting reamers. Set of 6, made in fronts. Got about 6 different sizes, and the idea is we'll start out with one down here in the middle. Just put that down in the hole right there. Push it down. Okay, there's something in the way, so here, let's do this. Just need to enlarge that hole. This thing's got kind of, like I said, it's hard steel. Got 6 sizes, 6 sides. And just put that, need to enlarge the hole of it, just put it down in there and just start twisting around back and forth. Just enough, start cutting the material away. Let's see. Okay, let's do that. Okay. Okay, put that back. Let's see how that fits. Put that in there first. Pop that in there. There you go. Yep, still needs something a little bigger. Okay. Here, leave that behind. Let's get the next size up. Do that. And just get a few twists. Let's see. I think you go the next size up. Now the way this thing's made, it's actually tapered. So you start out, goes in the hole here, start twisting it back and forth, makes the hole a little bigger, and then as the hole gets bigger, the thing will go in deeper. Well, like I said, for what we're doing here, you don't need the hole to be too big. There we go. Let's see how that fits. Okay. Drop that down in there. Oop. It's almost. Pull that back out. Grab that. Go back previous size. And just get down there. Just give it a few twists. There we go. Let's see. Back and forth. There you go. Alright. Let's see how that works. Just drop this back down in here. There we go. We're getting close. It just needs to be a little bigger. There we go. Here's just see how we do. Let's try the biggest one here. It may be too big to fit through this size hole, but I don't know. Here we go. Just give a few twists. There we go. And, okay, pull that back out. Alrighty, try this again. There you go. Looking better still, but could be just a little bigger. Here. Flat that out, we're getting close. Just gotta do this a little bit at a time. There we go. Get in there again, just give it a few twists. There you go. Back and forth. There you go. And like I said, these little ridges on here, like they're taking the material off. Gradually goes in a little deeper. Let's see. Okay, I think that base is deep is going to go. Let's see. Yeah, definitely make sure I put them back in the package when I'm done with them. Help, keep them losing, help protect them. There we go. That's actually pretty close. Here. I may need to do something underneath. There's something catching underneath, but for the purposes of the hand, it feels like we got it. What I may have to do is come back and trim the little pin right there a little bit. Here. There we go. Poke that there. Yeah, there's something underneath, so I can't really. I don't know. Here. Base is catching on the roadbed. So what I'm going to do is pop these out here. These toothpicks. I think we're done with them. There we go. Got that. Get the other one. There we go. And the ground throw still works. Hook that down in there. Kind of just, as I'm moving, using the ground throw here to move the points back and forth. I'm kind of taking the point on these tweezers and just pushing it down in there. Because what it's doing is the pin is catching on the roadbed underneath. So again, just push down, push that down some more. There you go. Because the roadbed itself is cork, so move that back and forth, and just dig a little trench down there underneath the points. There you go. There you go. Now, put that aside. Put this back through here. There you go. Doing pretty good. There we go. And you can see right now I'm using the ground throw to throw the point, but you can see how the little lever there is moving back and forth. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and remove this, move it out of the way. Let's see. I think I got it glued on here, so I'm going to have to kind of pry it loose here. Use this chisel blade. And yeah, just carefully reach under there. I think there's also some track nails on here. Let's see. Yeah. Get in here with those cut. There you go. Just pull this track nail out. There you go. Okay. Got that. Set that aside. Do the same thing on the other side. Get stuff out of the way. Get this little chisel blade in here. Get underneath the nail head. Let's see. Okay. It doesn't want to catch there. Get the cutters. Get in here real carefully. And yeah. Okay. Okay, here. Give me a second. Screwdriver. Try that. I'm going to glue this thing down, so it may take a minute to get everything loose. Okay. Yeah, bigger screwdriver. Here. There we go. Get it out of there. Yeah. Okay. The ground throw itself is fine. It's been a couple years since I'd worked on this thing, so I kind of forgot what I'd done. And pull that out. Okay. There we go. Okay, there you go. Got it loose. Got to hang on to that. Still good. Using a different switch. Take that tie up there. There you go. And see the little pin stuck there. Here, just get in there with the cutters. And push that aside. Alrighty. There's still a little bit of the switch throw right there, but right now just leave it alone. So the next thing, probably going to segue back to the workbench for a few minutes to do something. Then we'll come back and actually put the motor in. There you go. Make sure that's pushed down there. There you go. Just move it back and forth. Looks like it's working fine. Alrighty. Okay, here we're going to segue back to the workbench to do a couple other things before we make the, install the switch machine on the layout. Got a couple of things I need to do, kind of a little more prep work, and also tell you about some things I'm doing. Here, show this off real quick. There you go. Made this up kind of, off camera. This little board, just a piece of plywood. I mounted the switch controllers to, along a little, power strip right there. Gotta get that ready. I got, obviously, 2 switches because I actually plan to, motorize 2 switches turnouts on the layout. Just got them both, screwed on here, piece of plywood, and got all the wires connecting them. All the wires go in this like a little power strip thing here, and this pair of wires right here is eventually go to the power source, some power pack or something. I may or may not continue to use them, but I got some more wire. And of course, the wires from the switch machine itself, kind of like this wire here, just kind of go up through this hole like that and just connect down here. This hole, when this board will be mounted on top of the layout bench work, this hole will line up with another hole that's already in the bench work, and go ahead and use this at least as a temporary way to operate the switches or turnouts. And I'm sort of playing with the idea of how I want to do the switch controllers. I got 2 ideas, kind of decorated up. Either have this inside of some sort of building, this would be, of course, to be the edge of the layout, and this side would be open, so you can reach in here and get it. And I got a couple eyes to do that. And again, just going to reuse this board, just maybe paint it a concrete color, or again, mount this on the layout, have it out in the open, again, but paint the plywood some sort of concrete color, maybe probably paint the wires a little bit so it may look more like pipes or cables. And then, I don't know, put a fence or something around here with some other industrial type things. Or some combination. May have these out in front, have the building right here. That's an idea I've had. So if anybody got some suggestions, if you hear interesting hear them. A couple of things like that. These switch controllers come with these little plug-in plugs, whatever, and I got them installed on there. Kind of fix them up, make sure they're on there tight. You can use some sort of little graphite type stuff that you put on there to help kind of improve conductivity, make sure there's no corrosion. And like I said, got everything plugged in here. And like I said, eventually, run the wire up, mount on the layout, and like I said, run the wire up there like that, hook it all up. So now the other thing I want to do, tell you what, something I ended up doing. This is the little lever linkage I originally planned to use, still going to use it, but had to make some modifications to it. And we get this one out of here. There you go, like that. This is one still in the package. If you look right here, where this arm is, you got the the pin right there. That's actually a little machine screw with a hex head on it, and basically it works. The problem is when I originally put this other one on the layout, I found that screw head stuck up just high enough that it was above the level of the rail head, so it was sticking up just a little bit. And doing some tests with a couple of locomotives, I found that the stuff was catching on that screw head, because like I said, it's just was just above the head of the rail. When these things were originally designed, most people probably were using code 100 rail, And of course, this here is code 83, and some people like to use code 70. Or alternatively, when they mounted these things on the left, instead of going through the middle there, through the throw bar, it actually had it over here on the outside, which, actually works pretty good. But I already decided I want to have it in the middle, and like I said, the turnout on the left has already been modified. So, okay, what I figured out to do, just modified this linkage a little bit. Basically ended up having to got in here, soldered the screw on there and make sure it's staying put, because otherwise you could remove it, and then got in here with a motor tool and just ground that off. And so it's nice and smooth. Even had to bend it a little bit, make sure you go in through the hole right there. But basically it works fine now. Also, when I actually install this on the layout, this part here, the little tubing will go in the hole there through the track. It originally came with this little washer right here. Not sure how well you can see it, but it's there, which is supposed to slip onto the tubing. It's supposed to kind of be a lock washer. Well, playing around with it, I found the thing is very stiff, kind of awkward to work with. Plus, came to realize this tube right here is the exact length that matches the thickness of the bench work from the cork road bed all the way down to the bottom of the plywood, and therefore there's basically nothing there for this washer to slip onto. So I'll probably just end up doing just smear a little contact cement on there when I push it in, and it should be fine. Found some screws that I can use to mount the switch machine underneath the bench work. Don't know what size they are. I just found these in a jar or a drawer somewhere, and don't know what they are, but they're basically, hey, they'll work. They're long enough. Just round head screw, machine screw. The only problem is, you can realize this thing is just big enough that it won't go through that hole right there. So just a hair big. So what to do about it? One thing, may just go find some other screws that are just a little smaller, or get out the handy drill and an 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 size drill bit, and just make the holes a little bigger. There we go. Here, just do that real quick. There you go. Same thing on the other side. There we go. There you go. Set that aside. Now the screw should fit through. Like that. There we go. And the head of the screw is big enough, it'll hold it on there. Shouldn't be any problem. So let's drop these back in this little tub. And of course, I've got enough here, screws here for 2 switch machines, because eventually I'll be installing a second one on the same layout. The other thing is, I'm going to take this apart. It's fine. Reach over here. Grab a screwdriver. There you go. I'm going to take this lever off. That's the nice thing about these pre-made throw bars. You kind of just loosen that screw, and it should just slip off. There you go, like that. Get that out of the way. I'm just going to take that apart for now. Set that aside. And what I need to do is go ahead and install this spring. Again, not sure how well that shows up, but got this little spring here. It'll fit through a hole here on the throw bar, or the throw rod. So you can got a little notch here cut out, so you can easily put that through. There you go. There we go. There we go. And right now, I'm imagining, here's the switch machine going up under the layout, and the throw rod, it's over here somewhere, like that. Kind of like that. Yeah. There you go. So, what I'm going to do now, grab a pair of pliers. Now just hold on to that like that. Get over here with a pair of pliers. Just give that a little bend. There you go. Okay, we got it. Okay. Wire's a little stiff, but in the long run it's a good thing. It's kind of springy to begin with. There you go. Now, okay, that should stay put. Then we need to do the same thing with the little lever here. Let's put that there. There you go. Here, take advantage of work surface. Might be easier. Bend it. There you go. Just do that. There we go. That's what we need. Okay. Okay, kind of under the layout, it'll look like that. There you go. And of course, as the switch machine flips back and forth, of course, it'll move this back and forth like that. There you go. And that spring here, got a little spring here, that'll help kind of maintain some tension on the points when they're after they've been thrown. Okay. Okay, got the little part here set up in my panel vise. What I'm going to do now, get up the soldering gun. Stab a little solder on it, make sure it's hot. There you go. Now, just touch that to the part. Apply solder from the other side. Just wait for it to get warm. Okay. There you go. Get rid of some of the excess solder. Well, enough's going to be there to help hold that screw in place. And now, there you go. Gonna take off that head right there. Don't need it now. Nope. Okay. There you go. Ready to be installed. Okay, here we are. We're back on the layout. Gonna put some parts in now. First thing I'm gonna do, so right now these points are free throwing, just nothing to hold in place. So, was using earlier with just one toothpick broken in half. Here's take a pair of tweezers, might make this easier. Just put one there between the stock rail and the point. Just kind of drop it in there. And I do the same thing on the other point. Trying to get this thing where the points are centered, or as close to center as I can. There you go. Looks pretty good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now, got this little tubing part of the kit. Got this little washer on the top. I'm going to drop it down this hole here, that we drilled earlier. What I'm going to do, got this little bamboo skewer here. Just going to push that down inside. It's almost an exact match for the opening through the tubing. And that's, so what I'm going to do next, got some contacts in here. This happens to be Gorilla Glue, but any brand should work. Just going to put a little bit along the side of the tubing here so that the thing will stay put. I'm going to put it down in there in the hole. So the original kit came with a little lock washer supposed to go down here on the end of the tube, but I've decided the way this thing is put together, this tube exactly matches the distance between the top of the road bed right here and the bottom of the plywood. Again, like I said, I use the bamboo skewer here, or wood skewer, both as a handle, and also make sure no glue gets inside the tubing. You don't want to be gumming up the works there. Put that down in there. There we go. Just kind of twist it so the glue kind of goes. The glue is trying to kind of pull that out. Pour some of that down in there. There you go. There you go. Okay, just push that down. There you go. Get the tweezers, push it down again. Some of the glue, oozing out, which is fine. Shouldn't be a problem. Again, make sure there's no glue inside the tubing. There you go. And you can see where some of the glue is kind of spread out on the side here. Just move some of that out of the way. In the long run, as it dries, it should shrink. Remove some of the excess, and then just push this back down in there again. Just make sure nothing's in the way. There you go. There you go. Looking good. All right, and then It's like the part here, the little lever, the little rope bar. We just drop that down through there. There you go. Now that part's basically done. So what I want to do now, basically gonna move the camera and then come back underneath the layout and put in the switch machine. All right, here we moved to a location under the layout, or what I like to say, we're now underneath the the belly of the beast. Okay, and what I'm gonna do here, gonna be putting the switch machine motor in, switch machine in right around here. We'll connect to this little rod right here that is actually part of the throw rod mechanism for the switch machine, for the linkage up there. Got it set up, should stay put. I mean, those little piece of toothpick that I put there between the points of the main rails are still there. And I actually put a box on top of this thing with some weight in it to keep it from popping up. Because actually right now there's nothing really holding that, keep that from, like I said, just being pushed out. But we'll fix that here in a little bit. So to get started, and here's the switch machine. Like I said, it's going to go approximately there. Got the linkage here. So what I want to do now, got my pencil handy. So look here on the well, what would be the switch machine's bottom, a little piece of double sticky foam tape. So right now I'm gonna leave it as is, but here in a minute I'm gonna peel that layer off so I can just stick that up there. It'll help hold the machine in place so I get the screws installed. Now what I'm gonna try and do, here, you can see it. If you can't, just take my word for it. Got the linkage there, just kind of move that around. It's kind of more or less centered. There you go. It should stay put on, so if not, we'll work with it. Now, like I said, what I want to do is kind of put it approximately here. So let's go ahead and got this, like I said, a little lever here. It's supposed to slip over this rod. Thing wants to just flip around every which way, so careful with that. But right now, just kind of set it on there so I got an idea where everything should go. And pardon me if my hands get in the way. There you go. There you go. Gonna do like that. Now, switch machine right there. Now, gonna turn around where I can see it. Let's kind of flip that around like that. There you go. Now, when the motor here flips around, it should just do like that. There you go. Yeah, here. Twist that around. And if it'll work better there, we'll go and do it that way. Here. Let's twist that around. Get up here and flip that. Get centered. Grab that pencil. I just put some marks up here. There you go. Just enough I can see where it's lining up at. Okay. Just take that back off. Just peel that backing off of that double sticky tape. You may not be able to see it with my fingers. I got a little piece of plastic tubing right there. Came from a little piece of Evergreen brand plastic tubing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually slip it over that thing right there. Like that. I may have to dab a little glue or something on it, but for right now it should be fine. Right here. Just take that off, set it there. Just reach up here, get everything lined up. There you go. Just press that up there. There you go. I'll get it stay put till I get the screws up in here. Now, let's check this again. So it's slipping on. Just going to get that little piece of plastic tubing on there. Yeah, that's like I said, if we're not careful, we push this linkage, this rod completely out of here, up on top. You'll have all kinds of problems. There you go. Okay. Flip that around and see how that works. Seems to be working well. Just kind of leave it like there. Okay. Need to be sure I can get back here, get that little set screw. There we go. Got a little screwdriver here. Just going to reach back here and like this. Just go ahead and tighten this screw down back here. Yeah. Right there. There you go. Just tighten that down a little bit. All right. Okay. Right now, do like that. Yeah, I can come back and make some adjustments on that. Next thing, get the drill. Here we go. Got my handy big drill here. Got a little drill bit here. Forget the exact size, but it's big enough to do what I need to do here. I'm just gonna go in there. Got that hole right there. Yeah. Make sure that's set. And screw up there a little bit. Don't have to go too far in. Get back here, get the other one right there. There you go. The other hole right there. Yeah, there you go. Here. Right there. There you go. Grab a screwdriver. Just reach up here. Just leave the double sticky tape there and just start screwing it in. There you go. There you go. Reach up there carefully. There you go. There you go. Get everything lined up. Okay. Alrighty. Gonna pick up where I left off. While I was off camera, I made a couple of adjustments. I actually ended up moving this over just a little bit so you get a better angle here, getting to this linkage right here, especially getting back here behind it, with, where the set screw is, and also improving the angle here between, with the spring. I was having some issues with it. So, but basically it should be working now. So here, I just reach up here, just do this by hand, just do like that. There you go. It pushes out, brings the spring over, and moves the lever right there. Then push it back in, pushes on the lever, pushes back in. Yeah. Do like that. So far, it seems to be working good. Now, what I'm going to do here now, real quick, got to go ahead and start wiring this up so we can actually apply power to this thing. Now, a lot of that I'll actually do off camera, but I can go and show you this a little bit. Again, got the little, there you go, little power strip there that can hook the wires into, things like that. Take this thing. Got the black, white, and red. In this case, white is the common return, so just stick that there inside the center receptacle. Do like that. There you go. And there you go. Okay. Just bring this up here. There's several holes. Get right there where you can see it. Place right like that. Let's see. There we go. Stretch it out a little bit, see where you can see it. Set that aside. Got a little screw right here. Sure how well you can see it. Just stick that up in there. Should stay put on its own. Grab the screwdriver. This happens to be a straight edge screw. Again, just not that junk, dug out of a junk box. Get that up there. One screw should be enough. There you go. And I got that one screw came out here. Fix that here in a minute. But, Tighten that down some more. Sure it's on there tight. There you go. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to hook up a wire on this side, and then wire that into the little control switches, and they'll actually be able to test it and see how it works. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little trip along the Model Railroad line. Like I said, I had a chance to show you how to install a solenoid type switch machine here on this switch right here. Overall, I like the way it came out. It was a little challenge to do. Kind of had to work through some things, but otherwise, got it put in there. Seemed to be working fine. The only issue I have with it personally, and it's not a deal killer, but be aware of, is this thing's noisy when it's throwing it. Here, I'll show you. You may have heard this earlier, but I'll show you again. Do like that. All right. Throw it back. There we go. Like I said, it's definitely noisy. When the switch is throwing, it kind of goes bang. You hear all everywhere, it seems like. And part of that is it's just the nature of the machine. I've been at other layouts where they're using these type of switch machines, and like I said, they tend to be a little noisy. Plus, the machine itself is screwed directly into the bottom of the tabletop here. Just solid or piece of plywood, and the plywood is acting like an amplifier. So I still plan to put in the switch machine for this other switch here, and I got a couple ideas. I may try experiments to see them kind of get the noise level down. But like I said, at the same time, it's not a big deal. If push comes to shove, I can live with it. Because like I said, in the meantime, otherwise it came out great. So, and again, thanks for the feedback. We can get some good feedback about this program, how it's doing. Got some plans for some more videos. I think I've said in previous videos, I do have kind of a weird work schedule, and keeps me busy. If anything, it seems like I'm getting busier. So, having a little trouble finding time to work on these videos, but I'm working at it. And like I said, getting better, enjoying it. And kind of quick shout out to my nephew, Sam Mays-Wazinski. He's been helping me with these videos, mainly doing the editing. He's got some training doing video editing, and so gave him a chance to kind of get some hands-on experience. And like I say, I think he's doing a great job. So again, get this filming done here. I'll send this off to him, and hopefully you all get a chance to see this video soon. And with that, meantime, again, thank you for watching, and stay tuned. We'll climb aboard again soon and take another trip along the Model Railroad line. In the meantime, to get ready for that, we'll get this box out of the way. Make some room here. Move this over here, and whoop. I'm okay.
This train and bound for glory. This train and bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Won't ride nothing but the righteous and the holy. This train is bound for glory. This train. Now this train don't care no gamblers. This train don't care no gamblers. This train don't care no gamblers, no hypocrites, no midnight ramblers. This train don't care no gamblers. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Won't ride nothing but the righteous and the holy. This train